Now, Sky News contributor Kosha Garda, former Labor MP Michael Danby. Well, Michael, this row over asylum seekers erupted between Ireland and the UK, with Ireland concerned there's an uptick in migrants crossing the border from Northern Ireland is perhaps a result of people trying to avoid deportation to Rwanda. Well, I think deportation's a good thing. Is it going to happen, and what's this mean for their relationship?
I think the whole future of Rishi Sunak hangs on whether he can actually get some of the people who most people in the UK and Ireland don't want there, people who come across from France who are not pre-approved beforehand. No one's against immigration or good immigrants, but the idea of getting them to Rwanda is the same as us having places in Manus and Nauru. And people, therefore, putting pressure on Ireland because they fear being sent to Rwanda, which is a perfectly good country, and the circumstances that I've seen seem to be that they would be well treated and well
They've got to do something. They've got to do something. Hey, another Scottish minister has gone under a bus.
Sure has. I think we're seeing predictable consequences of, I think, what's happened in Scotland and certainly in much of the Western world with this coalition of the fringes in both sides, especially on the left. Their coalition fell apart where he didn't agree with something the Greens wanted, an extreme position according to what mainstream views would be around EVs and all of that. But more broadly, he's been in hot water for many things, criminalizing hate speech, the trans issue. He was in the crosshairs of J.K. Rowling and all of that. So I think that's why this particular individual is gone, and the party overall seems to certainly have some headwinds after a long winning streak for a long period of time.
And I think it pushes off devolution, doesn't it, when they can't get their house in order?
Very good, Kosha. Didn't even mention his name. That's well done.
Hamza Yousaf.
There he is. Hey, just quickly, the International Court of Justice, or International Criminal Court, beg your pardon, different beast, but there's talk of warrants being issued against the Israeli Prime Minister and other senior officials. I mean, is that going to play out? And if it does, what does it mean for running the country in the middle of a war?
Well, Peter, you know what lawfare is. This is the international version of it. This is an out-of-control agency that has got no evidence, has asked no questions, has not been fair to both sides. The International Court of Justice is a different beast. The Israelis have appeared before that, and they have made various statements about Gaza that the South Africans had the right to make an appeal. They did not say that there was proof of genocide. But the International Criminal Court, it begins with Israel, but it'll go to the United States next. And it'll come to Australia and all of the Western democracies. It's a terrible idea, and both the US and Israel are not signatories to it.
The US Navy, after 80 years, is back in PNG.
Yes, I think this signals the growing dominance and influence of China, as we know. People are...
So this is a preventative measure?
Preventative thing, deterrence through exercising our military muscle, all of there, and that makes sense as China grows. But I think the overall backdrop is the U.S. is weaker. The leadership doesn't exactly come across strongly right now, and it's getting stretched too thin with its involvements in these different parts of the world. So that's something that worries people. But for now, at least, it's one step towards the deterrence.
But Jack Keen's right, Kosha, isn't he, that the US doesn't have enough defence expenditure. They're spreading out their fewer and fewer assets to more and more bases. That's understandable because they want to diffuse where the Chinese can hit. But aren't spending enough to build the Virginia-class submarines for themselves, let alone the ones that have got to come for us. They're only going to build one this year. Wow. Come on, Joe Biden, lift your game.
They're running out of money. That's the issue.
Yeah.
That is the issue. And of course, we've got all these issues with Ukraine too, haven't we, Michael?
We have. We gave $100 million
and we can't, sorry to jump in, we can't even open our embassy there. That is just embarrassing.
Well, it was embarrassing that Richard only went to Lviv. I went to Kiev. You just get on a train and go there like President Biden did, like Boris Johnson did. It's, very strange not to go. It's just
inside the border, isn't it?
It's just inside. I mean, what was he afraid of? And it's an example of why that ambassador of ours, amongst the 52 countries that have got their embassies back there, isn't there. The DFAT has got an obsession against Ukraine, and I wish Richard would just tell them to re-establish the embassy there. How can we not have an embassy there? It's the centre of the world's biggest conflict.
Yep. Grow a backbone. Grow a backbone. Thank you both.